Hey, welcome to the Big Bite here on BritAsia TV with Sunny and Shay.
Now, if you'd like to get involved with the discussion, we always love hearing from you, especially when it comes to our topic of discussion. You can drop us an email. It's bigbite@britasia.tv. Lots to come up on the show. We're going to be talking food.
Yes.
We're going to be talking entertainment
Definitely.
and movies. Plus, we're going to be joined by celebrity guests as well. But before all of that, we're joined in the studio now by Farhat Akbar, who is a family and divorce lawyer. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
You're welcome.
You've come in specifically to talk to us about what's been happening in the news with a very landmark case. It's Vince versus Wyatt. Can you tell us exactly, for those that don't know, what's happened?
Well, basically, it's a case about a husband and wife who were divorced a long time ago, around 2011, and an application was made for financial relief, but it didn't go any further.
Please explain what financial relief means.
Financial relief is a claim that can be made by either party to a marriage to deal with the assets, financial assets. It may be maintenance, it may be property assets, or it may be pension assets. It's so that there can be a division of those assets to give a fair and reasonable settlement to both parties when they divorce.
So why was this particular case, Vince versus Wyatt, such a landmark case then?
It became a landmark case. It wasn't initially. It was a case where there was a divorce between the parties in 2011, I believe, and an application may have been made, but there's not any evidence of that there was any decision made to divide the assets.
Right.
And I've explained that when there is a divorce, the court has the jurisdiction to actually decide what a fair and reasonable settlement should be, whether there should be any property transferred from one party to the other, whether there should be any maintenance, whether there should be any pensions shared between them. In this case, neither of them had any assets at the time. And what happened was that the husband went on to become a millionaire. He developed a company, Ecotricity, dealing with the commercial supply of wind turbines.
Right.
So extremely successful. The wife at that stage made an application, and it came before the court, and the court made an order that she should be given a cost allowance order, given some money to actually continue with her case, so that the assets could be divided and she could be given some money to for housing and for her needs and the needs of her children.
Right. So really important, basically, what we're saying, just because there's a lot of terms there that I'm pretty sure people are not going to understand. So for layman's terms, what you're basically saying is two individuals married, they get divorced. However, there's no money at that time. Afterwards, this individual, he becomes a multi-millionaire. And the wife then goes to the court. So they are no longer together. They are both separated. The court judges and says that actually, even though they're divorced, this multimillionaire should still now, however many years later, give the wife who's no longer with money for her and also for the children.
It's a fair summary, but the court didn't actually make a decision at that time. The court simply said that she should be allowed to pursue it. It didn't say that she should be given any money at that stage, but just that she should be allowed to pursue it, and that she should be given a costs allowance order so that she could continue to instruct the solicitors to pursue that case for her.
Is this case based on the children and what their needs are rather than the wife's needs? Because I didn't realise in the beginning when you were giving your summary, I didn't know children were involved. As far as I was concerned, it was a lady who was looking for money because her husband has got a bit of money now and she's pursued him for his money.
Well, if you can term it, there is a child involved.
Right.
The child is no longer a child.
Right.
The child is now an adult. Well, he's now 31. She had made this claim 22 years after the divorce had gone through.
Wow.
So if she had made the claim legitimately at the time of the divorce, yes, the child would have been a child.
Right.
But this child is now living with the husband, working in his company. It's just the principle that she wants to claim for, that during the marriage she had made made contributions towards the welfare of the family, towards looking after that child without any help from her husband.
So now here's my question to you as a family lawyer, and you also specialise in divorce as well. Does this make it a bit more difficult for people to make that decision of spending the rest of their life with someone, and if it goes wrong, that they could potentially, once everything is done, divorce is a very messy thing and heart-wrenching for a lot of people, that someone can drag you back into court after, you know, said divorce 20 years later. Isn't that a bit more scarier for people to then commit?
Scary. It's very scary, and that's why there needs to be a decision on this case, but it has repercussions for a lot of other people who may have left their claims dormant, and they may say, well, we'll wait and see what happens in the future.
I mean, 20 years is a long time, isn't it? 20 years is a period of time that you think, actually, two individuals have been apart, whatever's happened, however much millions you've made, it shouldn't necessarily be to your ex-partner. Let's talk about now, though. Let's talk about the day. What does this hold for families moving forward? How will they, if there's an individual watching BritAsia TV right now, and they've been divorced for a period of years, does this case mean that they can go back and say, look, I was divorced from this person, I don't know, 15 years ago,
yes,
and I want to see if this person, you know, does owe me money?
Yeah.
Well, definitely, that is the decision that's been that has been made by the Supreme Court, that there isn't any power to actually dismiss an application simply because of the passage of time.
Wow.
We must look into it and look into all of the factors because the court has a lot of discretion in how to divide the assets.
Let's for a moment focus then on where we are today. You know, for a long period of time here in the UK, divorce has been a taboo subject within the Asian community. You, as someone who is a family and divorce lawyer, what is it like now in 2015? Are you coming across more South Asian families or couples who do go forward for divorce?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I think we're almost on a par with other nationalities, and you can't say that there is that stigma anymore among the Asian community. People do divorce.
What's the common reason for divorce then?
I would say the common reason would be the behaviour of the party, or whether if there's adultery, which is if somebody's gone off and had a relationship with somebody else.
So now here's my concerns now. It might be really costly for anyone getting divorced. So wouldn't they just stick around in the marriage and not get divorced, because they could be dragged into court any time? Because, you know, like I said earlier, divorce is a messy thing, and it's not the best thing to go through. You're a divorce lawyer. There's counselling after the effect as well. What would you advise to people who are listening at home and they hear this story for the first time? What advice can you give them? Should they start panicking now and thinking about those relationships that they thought they were ended maybe years ago, and that they could be dragged into court or not? Is it something to worry about right now? Should they lawyer up, as the phrase is?
I think they should go to see a lawyer to see if there is a way that they can start negotiations to actually reach a clean break, especially if there aren't any assets still, and just really to get the whole thing over and done with.
I think finally as well, though, you know, we do read it a lot in the news, and there will be couples perhaps watching BritAsia TV right now who, for whatever reasons, are going through this. Is it very common for newly married couples to want to go to divorce? Because that's what we seem to hear in the papers, as you know, perhaps a couple who've been together less than a year filed for divorce. Is that something that you're coming across?
I haven't found that to be the main one of the main reasons for divorce. I think people do try and give it a go.
Right.
What I would say is that a lot of people don't try to resolve the differences, because I think that the main differences that occur are through lack of communication. And if they had consulted counsellors, there is a Relate is a very well-known organisation, but also in our own cultural community, there are mediators based on religious organisations who do try to help to bring couples together if there is a falling out. And I think people don't try enough to resolve those differences. I think they are more ready to just accept defeat without even giving it a go to save the marriage. A lot of marriages could be saved.
I'm telling you right now, if you are thinking about going that route, bear in mind that it might be that you signed those divorce papers and you think everything is finished. It possibly isn't.
And I think you're absolutely right, Farhad, especially when you have children involved. It's a lot to think about. Listen, thank you so much for joining us here on The Big Bite. It's time for a break. We'll be right back.
The area I'm from, the kids I grew up with, a lot of them could be future clients. I know drug dealers, fraudsters, tax evaders. I can bring a lot of business to this firm.
We have a saying in Southall, persistence overcomes resistance.
I'm sure stalkers have the same philosophy.
You're such an idiot. I can't believe I'm going on a date with you.
You want to marry an Indian girl, why?
I grew up around here.
It's you, you're Nita, right?
I love Indian women.
What kind of wife are you looking for?
Oh, you know, someone traditional.
I think I have someone that you will like.
Don't expect me to be a virgin, okay?
Okay.
I think Nita is looking for a Caucasian prince.
She don't want no cork anywhere near her Asian.
The choices you boys make today will make you into the man you become tomorrow.
You saved my life, bruv. I will never forget it.
What do you want me to do? Apologise the rest of my life?
Yes, actually, I do.
Life has a different destiny in store for you.
Is that your uncle's wife? She is fit.
She may look sweet and innocent to you, but you don't know what you're dealing with.
Are you proposing?
It's obvious, isn't it?
Propose Punjabi style.
Oi, shadi karogi?
Apple?
It's on my rapper and Tony. West London, listen up closely.
Why's my name last?
Why is your name there at all?